You know, I never thought we would be talking about this again, but we are. Hey guys, Mark from Solar Games, and today we're going to talk about Fractured Crown, or what's happening again in the market around Fractured Crown. So, if you've been following this channel, following Fractured Crown, understand all the history behind it, the ebb and flow of what has happened, what the dev team at Weeps of the Shore have done to kind of like, I don't know, put a bottom on the actual booster boxes, and what has happened recently with announcement of different cards in set 3 that may actually make certain cards in this set much, much, much better than they actually are. All right, so if you guys haven't heard the news, Fractured Crown has a card called um, Right of the Realms that basically allows you to ignore domain restrictions or domain upkeep. Now, normally, right, there's a bunch of domains that were released in set 1, but unfortunately for like most of the game, their power level just really isn't there for a lot of players to really care about those domains, and it felt like, like it's a lot of extra effort to get them in there, and it really wasn't worth like running a card in addition to kind of keep that domain there without the restriction. However, come set 3, now there are a lot of domains. There are a lot of domains that are being released and still more that are probably unannounced yet. And so everyone's looking at the situation saying, oh man, like these domain cards are really good. Some of the restrictions on these domain cards, like the throne, for example, right? The Exalted Throne, are really good, right? The restrictions are really harsh, but that's not a problem if you can remove the restrictions somehow. And this is where this card, Right of the Realms, which allows you to basically play a domain and not ignore the restriction or upkeep forever, is becoming really good. In fact, it has teeter-tottered the whole entire market and kind of pushed FTC boxes up higher prices again, right? Because this card is worth something, and you can get this card in Fractured Crown. Now, I personally believe that even before this announcement, before this news even came to bear, that Fractured Crown was heavily underpriced. I don't mean a little bit underpriced, I mean heavily underpriced. In fact, I personally went out there and bought a ton. Like I'm talking about probably more than 100 boxes of Fractured Crown just during Black Friday. But ever since then, I'm still buying more Fractured Crown as long as the price makes sense to me. I personally think the set is underpriced for the simple fact that you can still do redemptions, right? You can still open the boxes, get whatever cards, redeem all the basically normal stuff, right? Your SRs, rares, and URs, but also keep all of your foils, keep all of your cold foils, right? And keep all of your CSRs that you may pull. So even if you're just buying Fracture Crown soft boxes, the ones where somebody else has already pulled the CSR out of the case, you're still probably going to be fine, especially if the pricing is at the $30 level, right? So, as some of you guys know, during Black Friday, TCG Player ran their 15% cashback, whatever type of deal. 15% only if you're a subscriber like myself for, I don't know, like a year. You had to be subscribed for a long time to get that deal. But otherwise, for normal people, I think you got between 10 and 12%. It's quite a big, cash back. Now, if you live in California like me, 10 to 12% just means that you got your tax back. So it really didn't give you much in forms of a cash back. However, um, if you get to the 15% and add on some sort of like credit card type of cash back, whatever, you could actually be hitting a lot of money, right? So in addition to that, during Black Friday, I noticed that a lot of FTC boxes were, I don't know, like $30 average, right? And so became clear to me I could just go purchase a bunch of FTC boxes for like about 33 after tax, get 15% cash back on them, and then I don't know, net about like $28 per box. So to me, that was an amazing price. It's insane. Like, do I know what the actual EV of FTC box is? I'm not really sure. My gut feeling is that it should be around maybe like the 45, 50-ish range right now. And of course, with Right of the Realms rising up in price, I think that's going to push those EVs up again. Now, being that Right of the Realm is a UR, right? It is harder to get, and so it doesn't affect the EV as much as an SR or rare would. However, given that it has gone up a lot, and there are still, I would say, hidden treasures within FTC, that we haven't seen before. Basically, something like similar to what has happened with the domains could happen to any other card with FTC. And this is where I think a lot of players are ignoring. They're seeing, they're missing the forest for the trees, right? So they're seeing what's in front of them, saying, hey, FTC doesn't look really appetizing. A lot of stores are dumping it to clear up inventory space, but also just get some cash on accounts so they can go purchase next sets. I understand this fully. However, if you're a player, if you're somebody who kind of sees beyond just the current, like, whatever's right in front of you, you'll realize very quickly that FTC has a really good long-term runway for two reasons. Number one, the cards in the set are good, right? And being that the set is kind of small, you can open a minimum amount of boxes and get pretty much any of the cards you want. It's fairly good for doing that with this set. Number two, this set, as far as we can tell right now, is out of print already, right? So yes, you can argue with me, like there are a lot of boxes printed, there are a lot of products out there. I do not disagree with that statement. However, this set is out of print, and if the player base for Grand Archive keeps growing the way that it has been, well, what's going to happen likely is that somebody's going to realize, sometime down the line, another card is very, very good. And that's going to then push up some card within FTC that's going to be the combo piece needed for that card to really thrive, right? And so with this type of thing happening, just like the domains that's happening in set 3, what could happen in set 4, set 5, set 6, etc., right? That could really skyrocket FTC, especially again with the growing user base. So you add those kind of factors together, more users, more players, potential new combos that are unlocked by like future sets that are undiscovered right now. And of course, undiscovered combos. There's probably still things that we don't know about FTC that we haven't tested, we haven't seen the right combos, etc. That's really going to skyrocket certain cards within the set. Now, I know, I'm not saying every single card in FTC is undervalued, that every single card is going to be worth more, etc. None of that, right? But what I am saying is that there are still hidden potentials, and I don't think anyone who's watching this video is going to disagree with me on that. So, given those kind of pieces, I personally think just because there is a bottom, honestly, with every single FTC case that you open, there is a bottom. The bottom is that you can redeem a full playset, right? Or 3, honestly, and then get your Creative Shock CPRs, right? Collect your promo rares. That is the bottom of FTC, right? In addition to that, you're getting your CSR, the guaranteed per case if you're buying by a case, or other like foils plus your cold foils. And if you hit the Quicksilver Grail cold foil, that's worth quite a bit, right? But any of the other ones that are kind of like highly playable are like 20, 30 bucks. So if you're buying the box, so just hear me out, right, on the math. If you buy the box, let's say, I don't know, with cashback, etc., for $35, right, in pot, like out of pocket, everything all inclusive, shipping, etc., $35, you get a box. Like if you open anything that's reasonable, right? You go open Incarnate Majesty, it's like $10. You open a Bedivere, it's like $8. And this is, by the way, with the reduction in price, right? So what has already happened. Those are already worth that much, but it doesn't matter. Those are used for your redemption. If you hit any of the good cold foils, that's another $20, which again puts your box back up to basically what you paid for. If you hit like Ride of the Realm now, that's $15. By the way, that card is originally I was thinking like, does Ride of the Realm, is it really worth 15 or is it kind of like a fake pricing? Well, the truth is I just sold 4 of them yesterday, so I'm pretty sure the pricing is correct now, right? Especially if you have a play set of 4, people are probably willing to pay a certain like a premium over the current, like, I don't know, like TCG player low for those cards. Totally makes sense, right? So they're worth that much. Quicksilver Grail, $10 card, easy, right? There's a lot of cards in the set that are worth like, your $2 to $7 range. Blanche is another good card that's going to be in your SR slot, right? So there's quite a few cards already there. And I see potential with like cards like Morgan, right? Morgan and other cards inside the entire set that have high potential, but again, undiscovered right now. And even the Serene, right? So the Serene Spirits that glimpse 6 and then draw 6, I still think there's a lot of really cool use cases for those cards that have not been unlocked yet. And of course, with newer sets, with other cards that we have in the future sets, we'll see the actual true potential of those cards. We don't know them yet. Okay, so given all those pieces, that's why I think honestly 35, 40 bucks is totally worth it. And it's a little bit late now. I'm sorry I couldn't make a video. I was really busy with family and holidays and such, but TCG Player in the month of December ran a big like cashback sale for the gift cards. So basically, you could do a trick where if you purchase a, I don't know, $200 gift card from TCG Player, they're basically going to give you like 20% cash back because they're going to give you $40 more on your on your side on the bonus bucks credit. So you're basically paying $200 for $240 worth of value. Now, of course, you can just gift the card to yourself, so you can do that kind of loop. There is a limit. I think the limit is like, I don't know, like $600 bonus. So you could do this. I think you can spend like $2,000 or something total, and then that's the limit of how many times you can do this, right? However, just this month too, there was a big, I don't know, like if you're a I don't know, Chase Freedom credit card user, there's a 5% cash back this month, December, or I guess the last quarter, so October, November, December, from Chase Freedom on PayPal transactions. So if you make a PayPal transaction with Chase Freedom during this time, you also get 5% more cash back. So it's almost like you're getting 25% more cash back by just buying the credits from TCG Player. So thinking about it that way, and then what I've also discovered is you don't TCG Player's credit also works. So their store credit, whatever, so far also works for the cash back. So what you can essentially do is you can wait for the next sale, like next TCG Player sale of some sort, and then where they give you bonus bucks and let's say 10% cash back, or like Black Friday again, 15% cash back. You can then use your store credit to make purchase during that sale, and you're going to get more store credit. So it's kind of like you can kind of stack it all together and get quite a bit of cash back together. So unfortunately, if you did not take this deal, you kind of already missed it. But if you did take the deal, you could be looking at, I don't know, like by my calculations, like 32 or so percent cash back in total when you're all done with everything. That's a pretty good deal, right? So yeah. Anywho, like basically that's what you can do. And with that money, of course, on the next sale, on the next, I don't know, dip on FTC, I recommend honestly buying some FTC. Fracture Crown is still undervalued. Right now, the pricing is around $44 on TCG Player now. So I think right now is about where it should be. So I'm kind of stepping back unless there's deals, of course, in the future for FTC boxes. But I mean, throughout the like low FTC, I bought boxes for $30. I bought boxes for $35. It was, it's crazy out there. A lot of people were just kind of dumping that on the market. You know what? I looked at the opportunity. I said, I'm going to go purchase a bunch of them. So that's why I have them. I still firmly believe in the product. I still firmly believe that, it's worth more than what everyone in the market thinks it's worth. Because again, there's a glut, right? There's many stores who have the boxes but don't want them for the future, right? Don't want them for the long run. Totally understand it. But that also creates opportunity for people like me just to go and say, that's undervalued. I'm just going to go jump right into it. All right, that's a pretty long video on FTC, but and I thought honestly, with my previous video, that was going to be the last time I talked about FTC. But here we go again, guys. Summary: FTC is undervalued. If you see any boxes under, I would say $40, it's probably worth it, especially if you can stack it with other like bonus bucks, whatever type of cashback systems. It may be really worth it. Plus, we can always do direct deals on all the discords, right? So there's a lot of good pricing there too. So that's what I'll say for FTC. Mark from Solar Games, I'm signing out. Stay classy.